What is up, everyone? Today I'll be talking about the pros and cons of living in Eugene, Oregon. It's a topic we've discussed before, but a lot has changed and I have several updates to add, so I'm glad you tuned in. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more content like this and content talking about eating, sleeping, working, living, you name it, everything that you need to know about Eugene, Oregon. Make sure to like and subscribe to this channel. Alright, so let's jump in. And let's start off with a con. If you're moving to the area and looking for multi-generational living and looking for essentially parcels of land that allow for more than one structure or more than one home to be on that same piece of land, chances are you'll run into quite a few roadblocks and it'll be far more difficult than expected. Unfortunately, the zoning around most areas in Eugene are really restrictive and prohibitive towards doing that type of thing. So even if you have 10 acres and you think this would be a perfect location for a second home site or for another family to live on that site with you, you'll probably see it's not as easy as you think. There's quite a bit of red tape in place. Hopefully we'll see some changes in the future to all these restrictions, but it's something that you'll likely encounter if you're trying to create a multi-generational living situation. And this next item could be either a pro or a con, but when looking at the overall workforce of Eugene and the greater Lane County area, 25% of the workforce is aged 55 years or older, so there's a ton of opportunity for newer young workers to come in and a lot of job opportunities to backfill some of those positions as people are retiring and moving out of the workforce. And when it comes to a con, housing and housing affordability is certainly an issue and a challenge here locally in Eugene. At both the city and the state level, there's been a big push to try and increase the inventory of homes to put downward pressure on pricing, but it's still a challenge for many home buyers, especially first-time home buyers. The chances are, if the home's under $300,000, that it will need quite a few updates and quite a bit of remodeling upon moving in. And another pro is that Eugene is continually growing and expanding. With an increasing population and a lot of momentum behind updating certain parks and a new YMCA and several other facilities and updates, it's great to see the change in the development and the growth that's constantly happening in the city. And adding on to that growth and expansion, another great aspect of Eugene is the Parks and Recreation Department, as well as nearby Springfield. There's tons of awesome parks, tons of swimming locations, and just different lakes and reservoirs and things to explore that make Eugene super unique and an awesome place to move to. And yes, it's true. There's a super outdoorsy community and culture in the Eugene area. I have friends who rock climb, go surfing, snowboarding and skiing, you name it, pretty much any activity from mountain biking and beyond, you can find a culture and a community that also has similar interests. There are so many opportunities to get out and explore, and no excuses for not doing so. And one of my favorite parts about living in Eugene is that it has a small town feel, but you can still enjoy most of the amenities that you typically find in a bigger city. And part of the reason for this is that Eugene is very central to tons of really small, more rural towns that surround it on the outskirts. One area that could be improved is the tech sector. There's just not a ton of tech opportunities for the younger generation, and that might be one of the reasons that the retention for local students graduating out of the University of Oregon, Lane Community College, or Bushnell aren't always staying in Eugene. And this next item could be a pro or con when it comes to cost of living, depending on where you're coming from. One of the main drivers behind why the cost of living is higher in Eugene than other parts of the country is specifically around housing. When looking at housing, the national average at 100 for the baseline, Eugene is at 140.1. So substantially higher for housing in Eugene than many other parts of the country. And another pro about Eugene is that there are tons of towns surrounding Eugene, like I've discussed before, and with the highway system and the lack of traffic, it's really easy to navigate and to either live or visit friends, family, and others in those surrounding areas. So it's a breeze getting around with the highway system, including the I-5 freeway, which goes north and south right along Eugene. So it's really easy to jump from town to town and really easy to live in some of those surrounding towns with the accessibility and the highway options. The next item is a con, but it's something that's developing and improving over time, and that is when it comes to the shortage of housing. At the city and state level, there's a big push to increase the number of first-time home buyers in the market. Right now, we're seeing inventory slightly increase, but that's only relative to the fewer buyers that are in the market who are willing to weather the 8% interest rates that we're experiencing right now. If we happen to see rates drop just a few percentage points or even come down to 6%, I expect that competition and all the craziness that we've seen the past few years through COVID will return. So we certainly need more construction and more development and just additional housing projects in Eugene and the surrounding areas. Of course, this is easier said than done. It takes time, and builders and construction companies need more incentives, and right now they may or may not be willing to take the risk with high interest rates and some uncertainty in the market. So we're not seeing a huge influx of new construction like the city and state would like to see. So that wraps things up for today. Thank you for tuning in. If you'd like to talk more about moving to Eugene and what to expect and how to be fully prepared as you make the big move, I'm here to assist. And if you're thinking about moving in 9 days or even 90 days, let's get in touch. I'm here to help.